Okay, guys, so this is the worksheet portion of your assignment for the whodunit. I've already made a video going over how the whodunit assignment works and how we narrow down each clue using our knowledge of physical and chemical properties to find out who actually committed the murder. And so on that portion, you're going to take those answers and then you have to come up with the story of who did it and why. It's not really a big deal. And then this worksheet was attached. And so this worksheet is a bunch of examples of what kind of questions you'll see on your test whenever we go over physical, chemical properties and changes next spring. So we'll come back to this, but I wanted you to see it so we can talk about it, look at it. CP stands for chemical property and PP stands for physical property in this key. And a physical property is anything that you can observe with your five senses. That's your hand, touch, taste, smell, see, and feel. And anything that you can measure. So like the density, the height, you think about size and shape, really. Those are things you can measure. Is it magnetic or not? Is it this or not? Like physical properties you can observe. Chemical properties are properties you can't observe, but that cause a change in the substance when they occur. So like if something is flammable, it has a chemical property because when things burn, they become ash, right? They're no longer whatever it was. The log on your fire is not a log after it burns, it's ash. So that flammability, that would be a chemical property. The brown log would be a physical property. So a lot of these are that way. And hopefully you see some things in this, right? So number one, oxygen is odorless and colorless. Has no color, has no smell, physical property. Number two, copper turns green when exposed to the environment. So there's a change. When this, then that, chemical property. Number three, the piece of metal is magnetic. It is. It hasn't changed. It's still the same metal. It's just magnetic. The density of water is 1 gram per cubic centimeter. It is. It's a physical property. Diamonds are a very hard substance. It's observed. It is. Nothing's changed. Physical property. The tree is 8 meters high. Physical property. It's what it is. There's no change. Sodium reacts. So when you see react, or it's talking about reactions, that's always referring to a chemical property because that is a change from one substance to another. So sodium reacts with water and burns, chemical property. Copper conducts electricity. Well, the electricity doesn't change. The copper doesn't change. It just flows through it. So that's a physical property because there is no change. Water is a liquid. That's a state of matter. It's still H2O. Remember, it's just not solid anymore. It's not a gas. Gold does not react. That is also a chemical property, the ability to not react with something. And so that's CP. Alka-Seltzer tablets react, chemical property. The color of the ball is red. It is what it is. If you're colorblind, it might be another color, but it's still the color. Iron reacts with oxygen, chemical property. The boiling point, remember, that's just changing the state of matter, not changing what water is. So that's a physical property. Baking soda reacts with vinegar. That's chemical because it reacts. The hydrogen gas is flammable. Flammable means it can burst into flames. Flames are different than gas. So there's a change that happens. That's a chemical property. Nitrogen is a colorless gas. We see color. No color. Baking powder does not react. That's chemical property. The silver spoons tarnished and turned dark. They turned. They changed. Chemical property. The piece of metal is magnetic. Physical property. And then 22, a student's shirt suddenly burst into flames. Chemical property. It's not going to be a shirt after it's done bursting into flames, right? So that's just a key that goes over where and why. And then the answers to the questions below, that's going to be different based on you. And this is where you can use your notes to help answer the questions. I labeled number blank as a physical property. Pick an example. Tell me why, and tell me why it's not a chemical property. That's a great way to think of the also. So first, why is it physical property? Why is it not a chemical property? And then for the second one, why is it a chemical property? Why is it not a physical property? That's a great way to answer this and complete it. It is worth a lot of points, kind of replacing a lab grade for us, because we would normally watch some of these things happen and write it down. So it's very easy, lots of points. It will help you guys out. Please take the time to do this correct. Check your answers. You can fix them if you want to also. And you guys have a great day.